Okay, picture this. It's 1983. A camera crew sits down with the smartest physicist who ever lived, Nobel Prize winner. One of the guys who helped build the atomic bomb, the man who later cracked the Challenger disaster, live on national TV. Someone who could explain literally anything to anyone. And they ask him one tiny little question. A 5-year-old could ask it, why do magnets push each other apart? And this genius freezes. He doesn't answer it. Instead, he looks toward the camera and basically says, I can't tell you. And here's the twist. It's not because he doesn't understand magnets. It's because the honest answer scared him a little. And by the end of this video, it's going to mess with you too. Because what Richard Feynman quietly confessed that day is maybe the most uncomfortable truth in all of science. Nobody actually understands reality. Not him. Not the greatest minds who ever lived. Not you. Stay with me. Because I promise you're going to look at the window next to you, the chair you're sitting on, and the phone in your hand in a way you can never undo. So who even was this guy, Richard Feynman? If Einstein was the wise old face of physics, Feynman was its rock star. Bongo-playing, safe-cracking, prank-pulling genius who won the Nobel Prize in 1965. But here's what made him different from every other genius. Most brilliant people want to sound brilliant. Feynman was obsessed with the opposite, being honest, even when honesty made him look like he didn't have the answer. He had this famous line. The first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. Remember that line. It's the key to this whole story. Because in 1964, standing in front of a hall packed with the sharpest students at Cornell University, Feynman said one sentence that probably should have broken physics forever, he said. And I'm quoting the spirit of it here. I think I can safely say that nobody understands quantum mechanics. Read that again slowly. The man who won a Nobel Prize in quantum physics is telling a room full of future scientists that nobody gets it, him included. And your brain right now is probably going, hold on. That can't be right. Scientists understand everything. That's the entire point of science, isn't it? Yeah, about that. Let me show you the exact experiment that broke everyone's brain, including Feynman's. It's called the Double-Slit experiment. And Feynman himself said, it holds the only mystery of the whole quantum world. Everything weird about reality is hiding inside this one setup. Here's how it works. You've got a wall with 2 thin vertical slits cut into it, behind it, a screen, and you start firing tiny particles, electrons at that wall. But here's the key, one at a time. One lonely electron, then another. Then another now. Common sense screams that each electron has to go through one slit or the other, like flicking tennis balls at 2 open windows. Some go left, some go right, and you'd get 2 neat clusters on the screen behind. 2 stripes, done. Except that is not what happens. What actually shows up on that screen is a pattern of many stripes. Light band, dark band, light band, dark band. The exact pattern you would only ever get if each single electron somehow went through both slits at the same time, and then interfered with itself on the other side. 1 electron, 2 holes at once, interfering with a version of itself that took the other path. And I know exactly how insane that sounds. Just hold that thought, because it's about to get so much worse. The scientists weren't satisfied either. So they said, fine, let's just watch. Let's put a tiny detector right at the slits and actually catch which one each electron goes through. Simple, case closed. So they switch the detector on and the magic vanishes. The instant you watch, every electron suddenly behaves like a normal boring particle. It picks one slit, goes through it like a good little tennis ball, and that beautiful striped pattern completely disappears. Turn the detector off, the stripes come back, watch again, gone again. Sit with that for a second. The universe behaves one way when nobody is looking, and a totally different way the moment someone checks. It's the ultimate version of that dumb question, is the fridge light on when the door is closed? For a normal fridge, obviously yes. For an electron, the genuinely honest answer is, it depends on whether anyone's watching this. This is the exact thing Feynman said nobody understands, and I need you to hear the subtle part. It's not the math that's the problem. The math is flawless. It predicts all of this perfectly. It's the reality underneath the math. What is actually happening? That's the part that has no explanation. None. Not in 1964. Not today. Now here's where most physics videos would just throw up their hands and go, quantum is spooky, mind-blowing, weird, subscribe, buy. But I want to take you somewhere deeper, because this is where Feynman gets brutally, almost uncomfortably honest. Let's go back to those magnets from 1983. When that interviewer asked him why do magnets repel each other, Feynman didn't stall because he was stumped. He stalled because he saw a trap most people never notice. He turned it around and asked the interviewer, "When you ask me why, what kind of answer would actually satisfy you?" Because every single answer he could give would just be sitting on top of another why. Magnets repel because of the electromagnetic force. Okay, why is there an electromagnetic force? Because of the deep structure of the universe. Okay, why does the universe have that structure? And you keep pulling that thread and pulling it, and eventually you hit a wall, a hard floor, a place where the only truthful thing left to say is, that's just how it is. We don't know why. We only know that it is. And most people, most teachers, most experts, they paper over that wall. They pretend it's not there, so they look smart. Feynman refused. He pointed straight at it. And here's the part that's about to crawl under your skin. That exact force, the one he could not explain, is the only reason you are not falling through your chair at this very moment. I'm dead serious. You think you're sitting on a solid chair right now. You're not. You're not even touching it. The atoms in your body are floating an unimaginably tiny distance above the atoms in that chair, held apart by that same invisible electromagnetic force, the same unanswerable. Why from the magnet interview? And it goes further. You have never actually touched anything in your entire life. Not one thing. Every handshake, every hug, every time you thought you were holding this phone, you were never truly in contact. It's all electric repulsion. Atoms refusing to let other atoms in. Solid is basically a comfortable illusion your brain invented, so you don't lose your mind. And the deepest why behind all of it, nobody can give it to you. Okay, take a breath, because we are about to hit the twist that flips this entire story upside down. Here's what you would logically expect. You'd expect that a science built on the words we don't understand this would be shaky, vague, unreliable, a bunch of educated guessing, and the truth is the exact jaw-dropping opposite. Quantum physics is the single most accurate theory human beings have ever created. Not one of the most accurate, the most accurate. Feynman's own masterpiece, a theory called quantum electrodynamics, or QED, predicts how particles like the electron behave with such insane precision that when scientists actually test it in the lab, the prediction matches reality to around 12 decimal places. 12. Let me make that real for you. That's like measuring the distance from Los Angeles to New York and being accurate down to the width of a single human hair. That's the level of perfection we're talking about. So sit with the contradiction. We can predict nature with terrifying, godlike precision. We just cannot understand it. And that gap, predict without understand, that is the confession. That is the thing almost nobody says out loud. Science isn't some machine that understands the universe and hands you the truth. It's a machine that predicts the universe flawlessly, while quietly admitting it has no clue what's actually going on beneath the surface. And there's a twist inside the twist. You'd think a discovery this heavy would have crushed Feynman, kept him up at night, left him in despair. It did the opposite. He said something that completely flips how you're supposed to feel about all of this. He said he would far rather live with doubt and uncertainty, and not knowing, than have answers that might be wrong. He said that nature, as quantum physics describes her, is absurd from the point of view of plain common sense, and yet she agrees with every experiment perfectly every single time. So Feynman said he hoped you could just accept nature the way she really is. Absurd. Read that as a philosophy for your actual life for a second. The smartest person in any room he ever walked into was completely at peace, saying the three hardest words in the English language, I don't know, while the rest of us are terrified to admit it in a meeting, or a text, or even to ourselves. There's something almost freeing in that, if you let it land. So what's the big reveal here? The thing this whole video has been building to. It's this. We've been fed a story our entire lives. The story that science is the tale of humans slowly figuring everything out. Solving the universe like it's one giant crossword puzzle, one answer at a time. But Feynman pulled back the curtain and showed us something stranger, and honestly braver. The deepest truth about reality isn't a neat answer. It's a beautifully, radically honest, we don't know yet. Every electron sneaking through two slits at once, every magnet clinging to your fridge, every solid object you've never truly touched. The fridge light you can't be sure about. They're all whispering the exact same thing. Feynman spent his entire brilliant life repeating, the universe is under absolutely no obligation to make sense to you. And here's the strange gift in that. It's not depressing, it's the most thrilling thing imaginable. Because it means the greatest mysteries left in existence aren't hiding in some galaxy a billion light years away. They're in the window you're looking through right now. The chair underneath you, the little magnet pinning a photo to your fridge. Reality is still a locked room, and every single one of us, genius or not, is standing outside the door, squinting through the keyhole, trying to see in. If this rewired your brain even a little, do me one small favor. Smash that like button. It genuinely helps this video reach more curious people like you. Hit subscribe if you want more physics that feels less like homework and more like a mystery you physically cannot put down. And I actually seriously want to know in the comments, does it comfort you or completely freak you out that nobody understands reality, not even the greatest minds alive? Drop your honest answer below. I read them. And if your brain is still buzzing, go find that 1983 Magnet interview and watch Feynman say it with his own face, in his own words. I'm telling you, once you see it, you will never look at a fridge magnet or a window or an empty chair the same way again. I'll see you in the next one.